Bobby Wagner.
What's up? How are you?
All right, what does it mean to you to be back in Seattle, to be back with the team that drafted you in 2012?
I mean, I think it means a lot. Like, I feel like, ultimately I never really wanted to leave, but, you understand the business is the business. But having the guys that I play with and, the way that they left and, I know a lot of those guys would have wanted to come back. So being able to come back is a true blessing.
It is a business. That's the unfortunate part, because you get somewhere and it becomes your family.
Mm-hmm.
You spend more time with them than you do your actual family.
This is true.
This is true. But that year that you were gone with the Rams, what was your biggest takeaway? What do you not take for granted now that you're back with the Seahawks?
I think the weather, as much as people say, because I was in the Valley and it was like 110 almost every day, which is crazy. But the people, this culture, I was fortunate enough to go and play in LA and experience another great culture. But, being in this one for as long as I was able to be in it, it's still a really special culture that I'm, always want to be a part of.
Who told you to go to the Valley?
Well, that's where their the facilities at. Yeah. So we were in the Valley. So it was Thousand Oaks to be exact.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, so your first act of football, what's something that you learned in your first act of football that's now benefiting you now that you're in your second act?
That's a good question. First act of football, define that. Define first act of football.
All right, well, let's see, you've been in the league for 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
So let's divide it up, 6 and 6. What's something that you learned in your first 6 years that maybe is now benefiting you in this last half?
I think it was just like being curious, being around a bunch of great athletes and really, really smart individuals. All of them ask questions. And so, you kind of develop that mindset of asking questions, asking why. I think over the course of my younger years, you start realizing what was the importance of eating right, sleeping right, kind of doing those right things. And I think that's kind of helped me later on with being more disciplined when it comes to those type of things.
Yeah, and I feel like now there are so many different things that players and people are doing. The red light therapy, the cold plunge every day, the sauna. What benefits you the most?
I do yoga every week. So I would say yoga for sure. I mean, I do all the cold plunges and, steam room and massages, all those different things. But, I think there's just something about the meditation, the practice that kind of our game is so fast and our game is so aggressive and things like that. So being able to kind of get away from that and kind of just zen out is dope for me.
All right, let's go back to 2012. And that draft, retrospectively, was mind-blowing how incredible it was.
Mm-hmm.
They get Bruce Irvin, they get you, they get Russell Wilson, they get your old teammate at Utah State, Robert Turbin.
Yep.
When you look back on that draft, what impresses you most about what GM John Schneider and your head coach Pete Carroll were able to do?
I think it was the mindset of everybody. I think everybody had the same mindset as far as they had something to prove. No matter if you were the first round pick or you were the 7th round pick, you had something to prove. And then I think, collectively, all of us, we saw how the media kind of portrayed that. We were I think they had us at an F or something like that. And so a lot of us took that personal, and we already had a chip on our shoulder, and it just added more fuel. And the most impressive thing, I think, is just being able to last as long as we did, stay together as long as we did. And, I think we did some amazing things. And some of us are still trying to do amazing things.
What is the first word that comes to mind when I say Legion of Boom?
Special. I would say that. That's the first word, special. It was a very, very special group. And I think when you're in it, you don't even realize how special it is. And then as guys start going different places, moving on, moving on to the next chapter in their life, you realize what we were able to do was something really, really special.
What do you think when do you think the Legion of Boom and this defense, but when did you guys really reach your peak? What was the year or the season that you were playing at your best?
I don't know if there was a time. I think there was just a moment where I feel like we really kind of got together. And I think that was after we lost to the Falcons in the playoffs, I feel like, everybody kind of went back into the offseason and studied hard, worked out hard. And then we came back in the offseason and we were just all together, and it helped because we were all pretty much around the same age. So we spent so much time together, we learned so much together, we grew so much together, we could push each other in a way that most guys can't push each other because of the connection that we had. And so I would say probably after that season, we started to really take off.
It's pretty mind-blowing, just the stats from 2012 to 2015. You guys,
Yeah.
I mean, there were fewest points allowed in the league, and you were so much fun to watch. And you kind of touched on this, but what was that magical, that je ne sais quoi with this defense that really set you apart from everybody else in the league?
I think it was a confidence. I think it was, you went out there and you knew what we were going to do. You just didn't know how we were going to do it. You knew someone was going to make a play. You just didn't know who was going to make the play that day. And so it was just fun to watch because you kind of tune in to figure out who would be the person that starred that day. And whether it was hits, big plays, trash talking, we kind of did it all.
And I feel like everyone kind of had like their own defined role, right?
Yeah.
So if you all right, so let's go through, pick a couple guys out of that defense and just profile them, if you will.
That's kind of hard, but it's like, obviously Sherm talked a lot, but he backed it up. He was very smart. He was calling plays. He was understanding route concepts. He was, he knew what the receiver was going to run as the moment he lined up. And the thing that I appreciated about Sherm as well was, he wasn't afraid to come and tackle. There was a couple times, they would do like a trap, and he would be in one of the gaps trying to, fit the hole. And, what made Earl so special was Earl did things that, you never really seen a safety do. And, he was able to run sideline to sideline faster than anybody I've ever seen before. But then again, also came up, made hits. Another guy, KJ, he had a insane ability to figure out when a team was going to run a screenplay. And I still, to this day, I don't think anybody reads the screen better than he's ever read a screen. Like, it's almost like you would go into the off season and you would run into coaches and coordinators, and they would say that when they played us, they would not run a screen to KJ's side because they knew he was going to get it. So it was just different elements like that. And it's, there's all other guys that I could mention that have similarities such as that, but that was all across the board. Somebody was doing something like that, not just from a physical standpoint, but a intellectual standpoint.
And what about you? How would you assess the way that you were playing during those years, like 2012-ish to 15-ish?
I mean, when I first got to the league, I was trying to figure it out. You get thrown into this group, and you wanted to make sure you weren't the one that was like the weak link or whatever. And I was a rookie, and so, a lot of it was me trying to figure it out, the league, figure out the team, and, I just wanted to be the best. And I think that's what made our team, so special. You had guys at every single position that was like striving to be the best at their position. And ultimately, I feel like we all reached that at some point.
Where do you think that defense during those years ranks among the greatest defenses in NFL history?
No offense to all the other defenses, they're great, but ours is number one.
Why?
The numbers speak for itself, the tape speaks for itself, the personality speaks for itself. I would put our defense up with anybody.
Okay. So, and I would also put like everything that you've done up against anyone as well. It is just prepping for this, watching tape, watching you, reading articles. I mean, the things that you've done on the field, it's insane.
I appreciate it.
It really is. You've got this enormous playbook to choose from. I'm wondering though, if you were putting together your own highlight reel, what would be the first play we'd see?
The first play we would see is probably a play from the Super Bowl, and honestly, it wouldn't even be like a play. It would be like more of all like when the ball goes over over Peyton Manning's head, and just all of us celebrating, because from the outside looking in, like they thought we were celebrating the play, but really we were celebrating because we were like, we know what we're about to do the rest of this game, and we were very, very confident going into that game, and we knew, this was going to be a special day, and that was kind of like an indication of what was about to happen.
Can I highlight a couple other plays?
Sure.
How about your 20 tackle game against the Titans in 2021?
That was pretty
Good game. That's a pretty good game.
That was a good game.
It's not bad. It's not bad. What about your 98-yard interception return against the 49ers in 2018?
That was one of my best ones too.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Yeah. What do you remember about that play? What do you see on that play?
I just remember they were driving, they were in the red zone, and you know, you kind of reading the quarterback eyes, you kind of baiting them into throwing it to the running back, and then you know, you just take off. And I think that was like my first career pick six, I believe, in my life. So I'm always remembering that one.
In 2012, you had 2 interceptions against the Cardinals when you guys blew them out 58-0.
Mm-hmm.
That was your rookie season.
That was my rookie season.
Yeah, that's not a bad game.
I remember that game too because I think Sherm was mic'd up. I can't remember, and we were betting on who can have the most turnovers in that game. I believe he had 2 interceptions, but I think he picked up a forced fumble, and that's what won him that game.
Damn it, Sherm.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Sherm.
It's just Sherm.
Yeah.
There's so many professional accolades, obviously. What are you most proud of with what you've been able to do on the field?
I think I'm proud of the consistency. I think, you know, when I look at the greats, when I look at in any sport, you know, you pick it, the ones that have been great have been consistent, and they've played at a high level for a long period of time. So being able to say, you know, I've done that's probably the most special thing.
How difficult is it to be consistent?
It's very difficult. You have so many distractions. You have so many things thrown at you. It takes so much sacrifice. Like we spoke before, like, you know, there's a lot of time away from your family that you don't get to have. There's a lot of time that you don't get to spend with your friends, things of that nature that you know, you consciously make that decision, and you hope that the end result is, you know, what you want to get from whatever it is. And so, you know, fighting through the distractions, fighting through, you know, all the things that pull you away from what you want, and being able to stay locked in is very hard. But, you know, you got to surround yourself with good people that understand, you know, what you're trying to get done, and, you know, have them help you as well.
All right, well, let's talk about all of your accolades off the field. Congratulations are in order.
Thank you. I appreciate
You are the
it.
Seahawks nominee for the most prestigious honor in the NFL, the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. What does it mean to you to be this year's nominee?
It means a lot. It's really special. You know, I'm grateful for my team because they're the ones that really like pushed me to kind of highlight some of the things that I was doing off the field. But this one is really special because I feel like we kind of really hit what I really wanted to hit. And so we were able to do a lot of stuff with HBCUs, but the big thing, we were able to, you know, create a comic book, you know, centered around my mom's kind of story, and, you know, hopefully do some good with that. And I think having that a part of this and having that be the reason why I believe that I was nominated, that was something that was truly special to me.
Yeah, I mean, you've done so much in the community. I mean, just as much as you've done on the field. It's like the list of the different platforms that you've helped and lended your name and time to. It's so impressive. But I think you're right, to your point. You know, this newest platform or initiative that you kind of launched into might be the reason that you did get nominated. So let's talk about FAST54. What was the thought process behind putting together FAST54?
We wanted to do something different, and, you know, I think obviously it's a serious topic, but we wanted to try to, you know, figure out how can we relate to the masses, how can we relate to an older generation, but also connect to a younger generation. And so I just so happened to watch the new Spider-Man that just came out.
Good movie.
The Miles Morales one.
Mm-hmm.
And it was by far one of my favorite movies. And so that kind of sparked the concept of doing a comic book and kind of telling a story about something serious through a fun way. And the biggest message in the story that I hope gets, you know, that I hope comes off in the comic is that you don't have to be a superhero to make a difference, and you don't have to be a superhero to change or to save a life. And so that was the biggest thing. There is, you know, obviously I'm the character in it, and, you know, there's moments in the comic book where I save, but the key moment, when, you have to save a life wasn't done by wasn't done by a superhero. It was done by someone who just understood what the signs of a stroke was, and, hopefully that's what's being conveyed, in the message.
So what is FAST54?
FAST54 basically means it's a way to help the younger audience, older audience recognize stroke, and it's an acronym. So it stands for S, face drooping, A, arm weakness, S, speech difficulty, and T is time for help, and time to call for help. And so we felt like if we can kind of make it into something that people can memorize and people can understand, when that moment came, hopefully it doesn't, but when that moment does come, you can recognize a stroke, and you can also, know when it's time to call and hopefully save lives.
What was the process like putting together a comic book? It sounds pretty fun.
No, it was fun. It was really fun, putting together a comic book. I think the hardest part was like tapping into, those old feelings of, what happened with your mom. And so, telling the story and understanding like it was a bigger purpose and telling the story was tough because you had to kind of open up so they can, kind of write the story. But, we wanted to make sure we did it right and wanted to make sure that it was done in a very unique and beautiful way, and I feel like we were able to capture that.
And what is the overriding message in FAST54?
The overriding message is A, learning the signs of stroke and being able to save lives, but I think B is you don't have to be a superhero to save lives. You just need to know the signs, and you can help save a life. And
why that message? Why was it important for you to get that message in the book?
Because I think sometimes a lot of people believe that you have to be like a superhero, you have to be, a doctor or whatever to save a life. But a lot of times it's just recognizing when something's not right, and being able to recognize when something's not right and being able to know what to do when something's not right is just as special, and people shouldn't take that for granted.
What's the goal with FAST54?
The goal for FAST54 is to help as many people as we possibly can. I think, through this journey, through trying to figure out ways to help, you realize that, especially from my situation, a lot of times people don't have the funds or people don't have the resources to kind of start that journey. And so, we want to be able to provide the resources as well as the education of A, trying to prevent strokes, but B, also giving people the proper resources so they can get back on their feet, so they can be back with their loved ones.
And when did you launch this campaign?
This campaign was launched, sometime in the summertime. We launched this right before the season. We put it together, we had everything ready, but we launched it right before the season started.
Okay, that's awesome. How many of you distributed?
We have a good amount because it's free. So there's two versions. We have the physical copy. We have the physical copy that we've gone to different schools where we've handed them out for free, or we've gone to different places and handed them out for free. There's also a digital version, and then there's obviously a different quality version that people can purchase, and through that purchase, it goes directly to the fund that helps people and have the resources to recover from stroke.
So, for the first time in your 12-year career, you decided this season to participate in the My Cause, My Cleats initiative.
This is the first time.
This is the first time?
Yes.
What took you so long?
I like to do things with purpose. So, I don't do things just to do them. There have to be a purpose behind them, and I feel like this was a good purpose to have and bring to light.
Can you tell me about your cleats?
Yes, my cleats, obviously they're Jordan, one of my favorite.
But of course.
But they have my character in the book on one shoe, and then they have a picture of me and my mom in a comic book form on the other shoe.
What was that like, putting those on and wearing those?
It was cool. I tried them on, but I didn't wear them in the game because I just couldn't put them on the grass and tear them up. Once I put my foot in them, they were just too special. So I had to, keep them kind of to myself, but I think we're going to ultimately donate them and, see how much money we can raise.
Good. You know who's so proud right now, more proud than anyone, smiling down on you?
Of course. That's my hope. My hope is that she understands that I'm an extension of her, and she's left such a lifelong impression on me, how she carried herself, what she was able to accomplish in the life that she had on this earth. And I just want to take where she at and see how far I could take it.
Can we talk about your mom just a little bit?
Of course.
Can you tell me a little bit about your relationship with her?
She was and is one of my best friends in the world. We've been through so much together. I don't think I would be in this position if it wasn't for her. She really pushed me to go after my dreams, and she really had my back in every form and facet of the way. And I think the biggest thing that she gave me was just confidence in myself that I can do and be whatever I put my mind to. So a lot of the things that I feel like I'm accomplishing, a lot of the things that I'm, striving for comes from the confidence that she gave me when I was growing up.
What kind of mom was she on the sidelines watching you play?
She was loud, for sure. She was one of the loud ones. You definitely heard her. She was one of the ones that cussed out the refs if they made a bad call. She was one of the ones that, was trying to embarrass you if you did something dumb, but it was all out of love. And, you laugh in those moments, but, as you get older, you appreciate that she was there. And so you remember her being there. And I think as you get older, you understand, like, what it took for her to get there. Like, there was a lot of sacrifices on her end to be available in those moments. So,
isn't that amazing when you look back on what your parents did? And it's like, because I feel the same way. I feel like I never went without, but you just don't realize all they did to try to make ends meet and give you everything that you needed.
Yeah, I think they do their best to kind of hide some of the difficulties that they're facing because they want you to be in the best positive energy as possible. And so, my dad was the same way. There was a lot of things that, he did that I didn't recognize, nor did I appreciate maybe, that I appreciate now because I didn't see it. I didn't understand it. I was too young. I didn't have the right questions, and maybe I wasn't old enough for them to share the right answers. And so, as you got older and understood, like, what it took for them to raise you and my other brother and my other sisters was truly special in itself. And, they are the heroes, for sure.
How old were you when your mom had her stroke?
I was 18. I was a freshman in college.
Okay. And the circumstances were what after that?
She had a couple strokes kind of within the same time period, and then I think the final stroke and heart attack, which kind of pushed her to the edge.
I can't imagine just how that affected your family, and how did you guys come together to just push through that?
It was tough. It was a tough time, for my family, because I think, as you grow up and as you realize that everybody dealt with that loss in a different way. Everybody dealt with that loss in a different form, and it took everybody dealing with it their separate way and dealing with how they, process that loss. It took that process and that journey for each person to have for us to find our way back to one another and be able to connect with one another. Because, I was in college, my brother was in high school, like everybody was kind of doing their own thing and having their own journey, and there's a big piece of your family missing. And so you just found a way, but then you also connect. You also become more connected spiritually, more connected to God, and understand, that the physical version is not here, but the spiritual version is still here.
Mm-hmm. Amen. It's the truth. So 12 years in the league. I sat with you, I think, I don't know, maybe 15, something like that. But you were very private in the beginning or the first few years of your NFL career. Fair?
Fair.
You're still a private person.
Fair. Also fair.
But you are more open now than you've ever been?
Mm-hmm.
Fair?
Fair.
What has been the reason for that change?
It's kind of funny. It kind of goes back to that that whole process and that whole journey. I think I probably became more private after my mom passed, just because I was more to myself, and it was a lot going on in that point in my life. And so, as I got older, as you figure out how to deal with some of the things that you were being faced with, new circumstances, new situations, things of that nature. You become more open, and you try to go back to being more open and showing your true version of yourself, and then you just you have the right people pushing that version out as well. And so I think now it's more of a balance. I think I have a good balance of what I want to show and what I don't want to show, and I think it's who I am. I'm okay with that. I'm good with myself. I'm good with some of the things that I like to remain private, and then some of the things that now I'm more open to showing. And then, like you said, even like some of the things that I did in the off the field, a lot of that was just done from a genuine standpoint, and people kind of put it in my mind to think about that. The more open I was to kind of sharing those things, the more people would see it and the more people would help, which that was the end goal at the end of the day, was to see how many people I can help. So there's different aspects in my life that kind of has that same idea, that same process, and I think that's probably what it was.
It's good that you have a balance between that. You can figure out where you want to open up, but you can still have your privacy.
For sure.
Good job.
For sure.
Nice work.
Still trying. I mean, nobody's perfect.
You're 33.
I am.
What would your mom say to the man that you've become?
Something smart. I don't know what. But I also would say that, I feel like she would be proud of what I've been able to accomplish while keeping a level head. I think she would be proud of some of the things that she was passionate about, or things that she knew I would kind of pick up where she left off. And just being an extension of her and seeing herself in me. I think that would be what I would hope she would say.
You don't have to answer this because I want to respect your boundaries with privacy, but what are some of those things that she was passionate about?
She was passionate about finances. She was really passionate about finances, and so I think that was one of the reasons why I started doing a contract by myself, because obviously, football takes up so much time. But you look for different ways. So there was a lot of things, but when I think about it, my connection with math and my connection with finances, I'm pretty confident comes from her.
Yeah, and you do a lot of work in the community with financial literacy, don't you?
Yeah, for sure, because I think when I got into the league, you understand that a lot, like, we don't get exposed to some of the stuff that we get exposed to. Like, I didn't write a check until I first got here in the league, which is crazy. I was 21 at the time, and those checks are pretty nice checks, you know what I mean? So not understanding that, you go back and you want to make sure that we get taught that, math is good, but also understanding how to manage your finances and understand what the stocks and bonds and all those things at an early age really sets you up for better success when you get older.
6-time All-Pro.
Depends on what you want to say. 6-time first team.
Okay, 6-time first team All-Pro.
9-time total.
Why is 9 your favorite number?
Funny enough, it was picked by my mom, to be honest. I remember walking around the house, and obviously you like Jordan, and then there was Kobe, but I think I might have had like Vince Carter as well, and she was kind of like, you should pick your own number. Don't pick a number that everybody has. Pick a number that means something to you. And that day that she said that, I just so happened to have the number 9 on, and she was like, pick that. And I picked that, and then as I got older, there were so many different things that gravitated me towards that number. And so
such as? Give me an example. This is fascinating
like
to me.
My birthdays, I'm the 27th, 2 + 7, 9, born in the 90s. It's kind of a lot of things. Like, there was a lot of, like, my number now, 5 + 4 = 9. There's so many different things that kind of equate back to the number 9. Naturally, or I don't even know if the right word is unnaturally, but like that number just started popping out in all different ways, and it kind of like confirmed I made the right decision, or we made the right decision.
Was that calculated that you chose 54 because 5 plus 4 is 9?
Yeah. I wore 9 in college, and then I got to the
Right.
league, and they said I couldn't wear number 9 like the guys can wear now. So I figured out how to make 9. So I did, in the Senior Bowl, I did 45 because it equaled 9. And then I got to the league, and they said I couldn't do 45. It had to be a 50s number, so I just flipped it and did 54.
9-time All-Pro, 8-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, record setter, like name it, unbelievable. What else do you want to do with your career?
I would love to get back to the Super Bowl. I would love to have another chance. I feel like we were successful the first one. Obviously we weren't successful the second one. So, I believe get there again. Third time would be the charm. So.
When all is said and done, what is Bobby Wagner's legacy on and off the field?
I would say that he was consistent on and off the field. He consistently showed up on the field, and he consistently made a difference off the field.